Hi, here we are again in October looking at letting go. So one of the concepts we need to look at or to understand really well is the concept of judgment. And the fact that we are constantly judging, from one thing to another. I like this colour, I don't like that colour, I like the weather, I don't like the weather. The studies are telling us that we have 3 positive judgments for every 10 negative. What that means is that you see the world, your average person sees the world 60 to 70% negative. So how do we change that? Firstly, look at your time perspective. In other words, this is a bad thing. It may be, but it might turn out to be a good thing. So how often in your life have you had to say, you know what, now that 5 years has gone past, I actually think that was one of the best things that ever happened to me, rather than it was a disaster when it happened. Certainly, that's the view that I formed of the cancer in 2003. At the time, and this is this time perspective thing, at the time, worst thing that could have ever happened to me. 3 to 5 years down the track, I'm saying the gift of cancer is that I've got a new life, I've got another chance, and everything in our lives changed for the better once I realised I've got another chance. How would I do it differently? So the worst thing turned into one of the best things. The second thing is, what is the situation perspective that you bring into it? In other words, Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, talked mostly about people who are in prison or war camps. And he said he found that the people who turned the situation into, here's an opportunity to develop my spiritual life, as opposed to, this is an opportunity for us to all die. In other words, they changed the situation from a disaster into an opportunity. Those are the people who survive. So that's the second thing to look at. And then of course the third thing about judgment is to look at it, is you won't be able to let things go until you can see the lesson. So if you're unable to see what is the thing that I'm meant to learn from this, then it's going to be impossible for you to let it go. So look for the lesson. So those are 3 things. What is the time perspective that you need to change? What is the situation perspective that you need to change? And what is the lesson that you can derive from this situation? Bye-bye.